Good morning, Year 10s. Welcome to Term 2 for PLP. I hope you had a great holiday. I wanted to record this video to finish going through the template for the Career Research Report task for PLP. The previous video that I had created essentially covered everything up to this section here, which was anything else of interest. So I'm just going to finish going through this so that you have a solid explanation of everything that is expected of you to complete this task. So essentially the next section is about the potential for promotion. Now, I was doing my previous video on the career of being a teacher. Obviously, it's something that I'm knowledgeable about. So I wanted to just go through and show you what kind of information you can put into these sections. So the potential for promotion within teaching, you guys would probably be familiar with what some of them are. Obviously, becoming a faculty leader. So for example, I'm the faculty leader of Flexible Pathways, which means that I'm in charge of PLP and also workplace practices. But then you've got faculty leaders who are in charge of science, humanities, English, a range of different subjects, technologies. So that's one area of promotion that teachers can make. There's also house leaders who are more in charge of the well-being side of student progression at school. So that's another area of promotion that can lead into assistant principal roles, deputy principal roles eventually, and also eventually become a principal. So there's some of the areas of promotion within the teaching area, teaching education occupation. One of the websites that I could use to help back up this information is the Education Australian Government website for the Department of Education, Skills and Employment. To give some information about different areas where school leadership opportunities exist. It also outlines one of the programs that exists to try to help nurture the opportunities for new future leaders. I've had some colleagues in the past who have gone through this Future Leaders program to develop their abilities in completing leadership skills, developing their abilities to take on more senior roles, positions of responsibilities. I don't think it's exactly this format, but there have been a number of different Future Leaders programs that have existed through different organisations. So yeah, that's one area there. How competitive is it to be successful in achieving a promotion? Really depends on the role that you're going, how many people are qualified to do it, what skills you have, what further study or training is required for promotions. There are often opportunities that arise that are reliant on people having further qualifications above what the standard qualifications are for that job. So it might be that you assume postgraduate studies of some kind. I've completed a graduate certificate in education in Catholic education to help me be a better Catholic school teacher. And I'm currently working on another graduate certificate in education at the moment. The promotion process, depending on whatever occupation it is that you are looking into, you'll have to find how these questions are able to be answered in your specific field. But they will obviously require a bit of research to be done to be able to answer them for your field. Future considerations for this career. So this is where we're looking about whether there is growth in the job that you are doing your investigation on, that you're doing your report on. Whether it be increasing growth or decrease, what are the trends that exist? One of the websites that you can go to for that is the Job Outlook website, so joboutlook.gov.au. You can do a search within there. So if I then click on secondary school teacher, I did a search for that. It defaults to the overview page, but then I click prospects and it gives me some information about the openings in this job over the next 5 years. So hopefully you'll be able to find some information on your specific career that you're doing your research on. You could include any graphs that might be included in the in your own report. So that shows there that by 2013, it looks like there will be an increase in the number of workers based on how many there were in 2018. Gives information on earnings and whatnot as well, compared with the average wage for all jobs. Information broken down by states and territories, and as well as age and education level. So that's just one website that you could use to get some information about what the job prospects are like within the career that you're looking at. That can help you to be able to answer that question. Now, this next section, why I chose to research this career, this really relies on you to consider what were some of the responses from, firstly, your My Future website. If you have a look at the interests and skills that came out from your My Career profile activities, it should give you an idea about whether the job that you're interested in does match up with what those surveys that you took actually resulted in. So obviously people contact was very high up in my interests. I do have a lot of contact with people, working as a teacher, whether it be students or my colleagues or parents or, associations from different schools. It could be a number of different things, but that's pretty high up. Some level of business understanding, office work. Obviously, teaching involves some level of work within an office as well. Outdoor interests me also, obviously being a PE teacher and trying to find opportunities where I get to be creative and practical in what I do. So yeah, if you have a look through those results and see how many of those match up with the type of work that you are likely to do within your occupation. If you click on the skills and knowledge tab, it can give you a bit of an idea about what kind of knowledge and skills it's likely that you are going to need to be able to use to be able to do that job well. Now, the other place where you can find information to see if it matches up with your interests is back in your e-portfolio. So if you go to the first page of your personal and social capability section, which is page 4, it gives some information here that you provided about your interests, your sports, your hobbies, the activities and events that you participate in, what type of work you do, and also if you consider the types of employability skills that you have, all right, whether they match up with the type of work that you are likely to do within your occupation, will be able to help you to answer this section here in relevance to interest. So you've got to try to match up the work that you have done. And look, if it turns out that you're researching about a job that doesn't really match up with your interests, then that's fine. Just be honest about that too. The next section, is about learning styles. So if we go to the second page of critical and creative thinking, which is page 7, you should have complete this learning styles survey to gain information about what is your preferred learning style. So you can match up with information, see if your learning style matches up with the type of learning that you are likely to do when you are working within that career, or that you're training for that career. You can make comment in that there. Relevance to academic achievements, results and skills. So again, you're needing there to really outline from in your e-portfolio what kind of achievements you've made so far, what kind of things you're aspiring to see if the kinds of achievements that you have had will progress into the type of work that you are likely to do in that career. So try to say why you're suited to it. Relevance to subject selection. Again, we're going back to here where we're looking at the subjects that you're choosing, making sure that they are appropriate for the type of job that you're looking to do. So that should say for 2021, 2022, not 19 and 20. And then you go into your relevance to your literacy, numeracy, and ICT skills, which again, you'll be able to comment on through your completion of these tabs here, pages 10, 11, and 12, which should have been done in your e-portfolio. Now, one of the other things that you should have done within your research is contacted somebody who works within the field that you are looking to pursue. So what I did towards the end of last term was I created these two documents to give you some suggestions on how to best make contact with people who work within the industries that you are looking to pursue, to try to make sure that your emails that you send out with questions get answered. So the first one, the tips on emailing to ask for an interview, just gives you some guidelines on how to approach asking for an interview. But the one that is probably a little bit more useful is the tips for writing email interview questions, where I've actually kind of put a template in there. The bits in italic are the bits that you can use. Obviously, put your own personal information in there. Send that out to a few people. You'll need to do some research on Google, or if you know people through family or friends, to make contact with people who work in the fields or the jobs that you are doing your research task on, so that then you can ask them for their willingness to answer your questions. All right. But you can't just send the questions without any context. That's what this section here is all about. It's explaining how you are planning to use the information, what the purpose is, how you found their information. Give them an opportunity to discuss things over the phone if necessary. Should they seek to get clarity over the purpose of it, they can contact me. If they're willing to answer the questions, obviously please let you know as soon as possible. And then the interview questions themselves, just some guidance on what kind of questions you should be asking. So I will attach these documents again to today's sector lesson. But yeah, hopefully you have looked at them already if you've been paying attention to sector throughout the last few weeks of last term. So then the conclusion, obviously try to put some of the information that you gain from your survey, your interview questions into your responses in here, wherever possible. And I would also say that in Appendix 1, you try to put some evidence of what the responses were from your questions. It might be that Appendix 1 is your questions. Maybe Appendix 2 is the responses to the questions that you sent out. If you had more than one response back from different people that you asked to answer your questions, you could add more appendices if you need to. But yeah, make sure that you do enter that information as raw as possible. The conclusion, you need to answer these questions to summarize everything that you have learned and that you are presenting. I won't go through it because I feel like the questions to answer are pretty self-explanatory. And you do really need to make sure that you are including a reference list and bibliography. Now, the places where you can go to access the reference list, all right, that won't load through here. If I go to portals, if I go to Thomas Library, I can access, no I can't, I must have to be at school to be able to do that. All right, but yeah, please note the link will only work while on campus. But yeah, you can access the online reference generator through there. Make sure that you are matching it up with the types of resources that you've used. If you need help with referencing, I might create another video for another day that will explain how to use the online reference generator when I'm back at work. But look, essentially, on sector, going back to our actual timetable for the day, you need to make sure that you are saying that you are attending, whether it be from school or from home. Instructions are placed in sector, and then obviously I'll upload this video as well. But yeah, you are working on your career portfolio report, the draft for which is due on Monday of week 2. So please make sure you are using your time wisely. The good copy of this task is due on the 14th of May. So it is a pretty quick turnaround for me to be able to give you your feedback and be able to then get you to make changes and hand up your good copy. So look, if you have any questions as you are working through this work during lesson 1 and 2 today, can I please ask that you send me an email? I'll be monitoring my emails throughout the double lesson to be able to answer any questions you have. If you want me to look at anything specifically on your OneNote, I can do that. Or if it's just certain sections of your work that you need me to help you with, just let me know. All right, good luck. If there's any issues, please make sure that you make contact with me so that we can try to resolve them as quickly as possible. Okay, thank you and good luck.